Thank you, Mr. Chair. Congratulations to everyone. I hope I have time to get to your questions. If not, I'll submit them for the record. I want to start with Mr. Hill. Actually, I do want to start with Mr. Cassidy. I'm going to be supporting your nomination. I hope to ask you a question about HUD, but it's in part because I think you've got the right skills for the job, but in part because you showed good judgment by hiring one of my staff who's back in the back of the room right now, I think. So thank you for being here today. Mr. Hill, on a serious note, I'd like for you to take a minute. I don't think Senator Kennedy gave you much opportunity to do anything but answer yes/no questions. The FDIC, you were here. You were walking these halls when they politicized the FDIC. They forced McWilliams out. Just think about Chopra. Think about all the horrible things that are, I think, in some cases still there in the agency that need to be cleaned up. But if you'd like to take a few minutes to provide a more fulsome response to Senator Kennedy's questions, I'd like to grant you that time.
Sure. Well, thank you, Senator. So as I mentioned in response to the chairman earlier, we are doing a long list of things to ensure that we are seeing the cultural transformation through. Harassment is totally unacceptable in any form at the FDIC or any place else. The linchpin of our efforts is really accountability and holding people who engage in misconduct accountable. We have two new offices that we have set up, the Office of Professional Conduct and the Office of Equal Employment Opportunity. And those two offices are responsible for investigating allegations and making sure that discipline is imposed if there is misconduct. So it is really a sea change from the way things had worked previously. And so those offices are live, they're running, investigations have been underway. There have been a number of examples of discipline. People have been removed, suspended, et cetera, based on the nature of the conduct. There's a lot of other things like new training, new processes for intake, tracking, things like that. But I think accountability is really the biggest piece of it.
Have you all started with any, because I do know that a lot of what's motivating Senator Kennedy is we were so frustrated for all the violations that were occurring in plain sight that I view you as part of the solution, not a part of the problem. But have you began any sort of environmental or sensing surveys or sensing sessions with staff to see if we're already beginning to move in the right direction? And just give me a little bit more feedback on that before I try and ask you a policy question or two.
Sure. So I have done a series of town halls throughout the year. I have raised issues related to culture in many of those. I've had many conversations both in large groups and in individual groups. We are working on doing a corporate-wide survey. I think we're still working on what the timing of that is going to be, but the intent would be that that's something that we do on a recurring basis to make sure we're getting the pulse of where the organization is.
Does the FDIC have a code of conduct?
We do.
I'd like for, just for the record, if you could send that along to me. I'm kind of curious. I've had a code of conduct in my office since I had one staff in the state legislature, and I have it up here. And it'd be interesting to see whether or not that is something else across the whole of government that we need to review and make every staff attest to every year. And if they violate it, they should be gone by the day the sun sets.
Absolutely. Happy to share that.
Thank you. Today I released a draft of Ensuring Fair Access to Banking Act. It's legislation that seeks to end both financial institution-related and regulator-initiated instances of politicized debanking. Can you give me an example of how previous regulators have weaponized the examination process and politicized debanking? There's a lot of them, so pick the best.
Yeah, sure. Well, I think Operation Choke Point is probably the one that was most noteworthy from the Obama administration, where certain types of law-abiding businesses were targeted, and the examination process was used in improper ways.
Mm-hmm. If you're confirmed, I intend to support your nomination. We'd really like your help in reviewing the bill. Can I get your commitment, actually, if you're confirmed, that we can get technical assistance and support from your agency to see how we get this right, maybe get support in this Congress? Absolutely. Mr. Cassidy, I am going to ask you a question. Tell me how you think your well, first off, I always say this with anybody in HUD, and I'm about to be cut off. So I'll submit it for the record. But the first thing I hope you will list as a priority is looking at all the regulatory impediments that people are begging for every day that increase the cost of affordable housing and dig the hole that we'll never get ourselves out of until we recognize it is a critical component of delivering on affordable housing. And if you could submit a response to the record, I'd appreciate it.
Mr. Van Hollen.
Absolutely.